Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be lesson 2 of our drawing unit. And lesson 2 is going to be dealing with some of the same things, northeast and northwest directions, and it's going to be dealing with foreshortened circles. Foreshortened circles are circles as you bring them forward, they appear to squish. All right, so they're going to squish. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have some fun. And I like doing cartoons. I learned how to draw a lot through cartoons. So we're going to use some foreshortening and some foreshortening lessons and try to have some fun with that. There are a lot of foreshortened circles in here, a lot of foreshortened circles. So let's start out. Take the piece of paper, fold it in half, just like last time. We're going to do 4 drawings in this lesson. I'll break it up into 2 parts, just like before. 4 drawings in this lesson. So what we're going to do is, as you open up your paper, have it going side to side, which is landscape. That works pretty well. And right up at the top, write lesson 2, put your name. And my name is Mr. Boltzmann. And then put the hour. Again, I'm going to just choose second hour here for the sake of choosing an hour. And now we're ready to go. All right, so I'm going to do 1 drawing, 2, 3, 4 in here, and that works out pretty well. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on this first section right here. Let's bring this up a little bit so you can see that easier. All right. So as you're taking a look at this, this is kind of like a spaceship, kind of like the old Jetsons TV show they used to have, which was an animated show way back in the 60s and 70s. And it's got some really nice foreshortened circles. So what you're going to see here is this is like a regular circle that we're going to start with. We're going to start with the dome on here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw half a circle. This is not foreshortened. This is just half a circle for the dome on this spaceship. And then underneath there, very lightly, I'm going to put a foreshortened circle. Now you could start this with 2 dots like we've done before, and the foreshortened circle, and then you could add the top part to it. That would work also. I just did this a little bit differently this time, just to show you that there are a lot of different ways that you can set up drawing. But that gives me a dome. It's about 2 fingers apart. So you could start with 2 dots, 2 fingers apart, start with that foreshortened, and then you can bring up that dome. Now, from this point here, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put a dot out to the right, probably almost a finger length, and a dot to the left, almost a finger length out there. These are some guidelines. And then here I'm going to put a dot pretty close. Keep it close because it's foreshortened. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a foreshortened circle around that first foreshortened circle. It's going to go right through the back of there because you will see it through that glass dome. And it's going to come around like this. Remember, don't point the edges of your foreshortened circles. Keep them kind of round. Okay? Keep them kind of round. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put a bottom part. So it's going to be kind of just like this shape, only flipped upside down. Now I find it harder to draw this going this way because my hand doesn't naturally make a circle. So I'm going to take my paper and flip it upside down. This is a trick I do a lot. Because see, my hand naturally makes a curve this way a little bit easier. And again, if you ever need to stop this video or pause it, go ahead and pause it, catch up to where I am, and then you can keep going. Because I'm not putting any pauses in this. Now, that comes down, this is a little bit deep, deeper than I usually do one of these, but that's okay. All right, so now I have what looks like a foreshortened circle on top of a foreshortened circle, or a dome on top of a dome. Now, I'm going to put some feet on here. This is just a little flying saucer. So I'm going to put a foreshortened curve and then 2 angles that come out that taper a little bit. By tapering, I just mean they get a little bit thinner. Okay, so that just gets a little bit smaller as that goes out. Let's make this bigger for you so you can see. And then just for the sake of it, I'm going to go round and round and round here, and I'm just going to put a wheel on that. I'm going to come over to the other side. I'm going to put a foreshortened curve, and I'm going to taper wheels off of this side. You could do this a little differently if you want to. That would be okay. It's always good to take a little bit different directions as long as you're getting kind of the right idea. And then way back here, I'm going to put two little lines down. I'm going to put another little tire back there, a little wheel. So he's got like this little tripod of wheels to sit on. All right. Now, here inside of this dome, I'm going to take a look in there. Let's make this a little bit bigger. I want to put a little guy in there. And I'm going to make him look like he could be a little Martian guy, a little outer space guy or something like that. First of all, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to erase inside of there a little bit, just right in the middle. Remember, erasers are good. Erasers aren't just for fixing mistakes. Erasers are for drawing with too. All right, so I'm going to, inside here, I'm going to put not necessarily a foreshortened circle, but kind of an oval shape in here. That's going to be his head. Okay, so there's this guy's head, and I'm going to give him some shoulders, just 2 lines down, and I'm going to give him some arms, just 2 more little lines down like that. And kind of like with the marshmallow dude, I'm going to give him some eyeballs, and his eyeballs are going to stick up above his head a little bit like this. His eyes are going to touch right there. So he's going to look a little froggy. And again, then you can erase these little parts right there where his eyes go. That's kind of fun. And I'm going to make this guy a little cross-eyed because that's fun to do. So I'm just going to put his eyes together like that a little bit, and maybe I'll give him little Shrek ears. That would be good. You can decorate him how you want. And I'm going to make him smile because he's having fun in his little spaceship there. That's cool. I'm going to give him a set of front teeth like I did the marshmallow guy, just because we've already done that before and that helps. I'm going to give him a striped shirt. Let's give him some stripes right there. That's fun. All right, so there's my guy. He's a little cartoon guy. He's inside of his spaceship there. Now, with this spaceship, I want the light source coming from the right-hand side again. I like light sources coming from the right. So if the light source is going to come from the right, the light's going to hit the top of the spaceship right here. But right there, where it goes down and into the spaceship, it's going to be a little bit dark. So I'm going to add a shadow there. It's going to be a little dark along the back here too. There's going to be a shadow there. I make it darker at the top and it gets a little bit lighter as it goes down. So that's kind of fun with those shadows, right? If I take that glare off of there, you can see that better. It's good at just a tiny bit of an angle. All right, so that takes that glare off. Let me see if I can adjust this computers a little bit. Take that glare off of there. We still have it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to put in over here, I'm going to put some shadow on this side. I'm going to follow the edge of this spaceship right here. I'm going to put some shadows on this side. You can use the side of your pencil too. That goes a little quicker. I'm going to make it just a little bit darker on the outside edge. That works really well for shading. You can use the side of your pencil. I'm going to shadow these little prongs coming down there some. I'm going to shadow the bottom part of the spaceship. And I like to take my finger and just rub it. So there's the bottom part of the spaceship. That's shaded a little bit. That looks better. And then a couple more little lines on this guy, and he's going to be done. So I don't want to spend too long on him. If you really like making spaceships, sometimes students will go and draw a couple other ones in the background if you just really love doing this kind of stuff and you want to keep going with it. But I know that while you're doing virtual lessons like this, it might be a little bit harder to have more time. Okay, so I'm going to do a foreshortened circle on the side here. It's just kind of sideways. And I'm going to put a little curve like this. There's a lot of curves and foreshortened circles with this. And this is going to be just a little radar thing that comes out like beep, 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 beep. All right, so it's kind of shooting some radar lines out there. That's kind of fun. In the background, you could add some stars. Now, when I was a kid, I learned how to do stars by going up and then down at an angle, and then up at an angle, and then across and down. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I remember when my sister taught me how to draw these little stars. I thought I was a pretty cool artist when I learned how to draw that. I'm going to put a couple little stars up there. And this is a drawing that deals all with foreshortened circles. It deals all with foreshortened circles. All right, so, sorry, there was just an announcement. I'm at school taping this. All right, the second one is going to be a chair. So I'm going to do a chair. This is going to be foreshortened squares. Just remember that the foreshortened square, the square looks like this. As it comes up at an angle and it foreshortens, remember the top of it looks kind of like a squished diamond right there. See that? It looks like a squished diamond. So I'm going to do a chair shape similar to this block right here. So I'm going to start this one out about 3 fingers apart, maybe just a little bit less than 3 fingers apart. And I'm going to do 2 dots. I'm going to do this part of the chair first, okay, right here. So I'm going to do the seating part of this chair first. And you can see, well, that's more like 2 fingers apart, maybe just 2.5. I'll go a little bit, just a little bit wider. Where's my eraser? Here we go. I'm just taping this live, so I'm not going to do a lot of editing to it. It's kind of like when I teach a class. All right. Now up above there, I'm going to put a dot, and down below the dot, these are less than a finger apart. Then I'm going to go northeast, northwest, northeast, northwest. All right, remember your directions, northeast and northwest. I'm just going to call these 2. Now I know that northwest goes down to southeast, and I know northeast goes down to southwest, but you don't even have to remember that. Just remember these 2. Makes it easier. I kind of like keeping things simple. All right, just like we did for that simple table back in lesson 1, I'm going to put a top on this, all right? So we've already done this. Remember in lesson 1, we did a simple table like that. So here, it's kind of looking like a simple table again, but wait, there's more. I'm going to go and take this now, instead of turning it into a simple table, I'm going to put a line, here's this middle line. I'm going to put a line down and down for a chair leg. And I'm going to go down about as far as I want that chair to go down. And you could have a really tall chair, or you could have a shorter chair if you want. Now, here's the trick. The trick is you want these 2 chair legs to line up in direction northeast. So if you set your pencil like this at an angle, that will help. I like to do a little guideline right here. I like to do just a little, what I call a phantom line or a ghost line in northeast. And then you can bring this leg down and touch that line right there. So now you know that this leg and that leg will be in perspective. So that works pretty well. I'm going to go on the other side, and I'm going to do a phantom line or a ghost line like this. And I'm going to bring this leg down right to that point right there. And you can see how that leg lines up too. So now these legs go in directions northeast and northwest. In the back, I'm going to crisscross these. I'm going to go northeast and northwest. I keep doing the same thing over and over. I'm not doing new things. I'm just making them a little bit more complicated by adding some new things. And this is called a peekaboo leg. You put that little leg back there, it just kind of peeks out from behind, so it looks like it's there. And the bottom here looks like a squished square, and the top looks like a squished square or diamond shape, and that works out pretty well. All right, for the back of the chair, I'm going to move this down a little bit. For the back of the chair, I want to take a line and go straight up. Here, I want to take a line and go straight up. I find that that works a lot easier. So I'm going to take 2 lines straight up. Now, you could make the back of this chair go back in northwest direction, but I'm going to curve this. And take your time when you curve it. Notice I do it in little strokes. Curve the top of that chair. Curve the top of that chair around. That works pretty well. for the back of a chair. And then I'm going to just do another line to the inside of it and kind of copy that. So I'm going to copy that and take that around. And that becomes the back of my chair. And I'm going to put a little foreshortened circle at the bottom of each of those. So it looks like the back is good. Now, if you sit down in that chair and lean backwards, you'd fall through. So I'm going to put a couple lines down here and a couple lines down here. So the back of that chair, you won't fall through. All right. And there you have a simple chair. That's a really good way to do it in 3 dimensions. Now I'm going to add a couple other, I'm going to add a couple other things to it. As you can see, this chair has a little mouse sticking out of the hole, and it's got a back wall. And so I'm going to add a couple features. All right, if this is as far as you can get, and that's all that you can do, that's fine. Maybe add a little shadow. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a line coming northeast and northeast, and then straight down and straight down. And I'm going to make that chair look like it's made out of a couple pieces of wood. Let's go in here a little bit closer. I'm going to put a little wood grain in this. Now, the ends of the wood grain will lots of times look like this. That's called end grain. You can see the, excuse me, you can see where the wood is cut. You can see where the grain is. And then along here, you can put a couple knots. And you can have some fun doing some wood grains there. That's kind of fun. And then if you want to, you could put a dot right about here. And I'm going to add a line northeast. I'm going to put a line straight down. And I'm going to put a line northwest. And I just put it into the corner. If you would like to add a little mouse, he's pretty fun. You can add a little bit of like the back of the chair right there. And you can do a little tapered line, and you can make his nose sticking out. And you can add a couple little lines to it, and you can make a little mouse sticking onto that hole. That's kind of fun if you want to add a little bit of an element to it. So there you go. There is the first part of lesson 2. So I'm going to call this lesson 2, part 1. So you have foreshortened circles and foreshortened squares. And I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you're having fun with these lessons. All right, I'm about ready to sign off. Take care. We'll see you for the lesson 2, part 2. Thanks.